One more game remains for today's stream here at the North for the League of Legends broadcast. Stanley Greyheart Barker, joined again by Alex Nymera Hapgood. We're going to be bringing you DMU T1 versus Careless very, very shortly. But before we do, let's catch up a little bit, Nymera, because I love the family feel we have here at the Null. People who are coming back to the stream since past Christmas. They get to catch up with us. So, what's like the biggest thing for you since we were last broadcasting the finals?
Oh, broadcasting the finals. I mean,
You've moved?
Huh?
You sort of moved back down to London, I think?
Yeah, I did. So I went back home, of course. Went back there to join my family for a bit over the holiday period. But then, due to internet issues and stuff, and my continued casting career, I needed to move back down here, back down into London.
Back to the Irish Shrine.
Back to the shrine. That's of course the most important thing. That's the biggest thing. I think it was the holidays were a very nice reset for me because I've actually averaged casting a game a day for an entire year now. I had a full month off from that. It's helped me really reset, and I've really enjoyed that. So I can come back full force into the new.
Oh, that's really cool. Biggest thing for me, those people who follow me on Twitter or Instagram or wherever, they'll know that the grey house houses the greyhounds, and we've actually added a greyhound this year. So this is Hope. She's a rescue who came to the house just before Christmas, as she wasn't going to have a home for Christmas and the New Year.
Oh my gosh, Stan, you have a dog that's quiet on camera.
I know
it's finally happened.
This is the only one who's allowed to be in the office at the moment, which is why she can be here. So yes, this is Hope. She gets her opportunity to say hi to the Null stream. And she's absolutely lovely and a very welcome member of the household. By far the best thing that happened to me in 2020, apart from getting cast with you.
Oh, you're absolutely too sweet. But yeah, and sweet as pie to finish off of the day. I mean, not all pies are sweet, but very sweet things. Game 3 is
really nice.
Game 3 is of course DMU defending champions versus Gallus, and this is just catching up on the records of their games today. DMU are 1-1. They lost versus the Portsmouth Paladins in round 1. They did end up being Heartstock, but KLS are now 2-0. They've won versus UOL, Arctic Foxes, and then Portsmouth Paladins themselves. So you know what we're talking about? Oh, so a lot of these teams are actually quite close. We were only 1 or 2 wins away. In terms of various teams, in terms of qualifying straight towards prize playoffs, qualifying for qualification varsity, or even getting into that at all. So I'm looking at these two teams and like, okay, this might actually be the example of that we've been waiting for today, of real upset potential, because Careless, a real fire-starter team. They had like a perfect Swiss playoffs run back in, I believe it was either summer or spring 2020, and they've come in with real flair. But they are up against, the Newell Titans, the UK University League Titans right now in DMU T1, because they slaughtered Winter. It was very, very dominant.
Yeah, literally only really the final was close, to be perfectly honest. And yeah, this is very true. I mean, what could happen at the end of the day if KLS are able to pick up a win here? They go to 3-0. They'll be one of the teams at the very top of the table. They'll have forced DMU T1 down to 1-2, which is not the start our defending champions would have been hoping to have. On the other hand, DMU T1, if they stick to the form book pre this split and they make this a win for themselves, they go to 2-1. They pull KLS down to 2-1, and they're just off the top spot going into week 2.
Will be, but I mean, again, we talked about this with a couple of the teams in the last game. If you have a bad first week, no one cares if you're doing well at the end of the split and going into playoffs. It's fun for pride reasons, because of course it is a best of 1 round robin. You only get to play each team once because it's a single round robin. So you're looking to get that pride and that head-to-head matchup over these various teams. But there's a lot to be said about, going into playoffs with, just making it in there and improving as you go along, and then hitting playoff strong is the more important part.
As we come into Champ Select, we get to see our first 4 bans. Fiora and Victor taken away by DMU T1. Careless, they take away Olaf and Hecarim, trying to really pinch the pool for heavy dubstep. This is the point where we turn to our expert and analyst for their opinion.
Yeah, see, I've been so like trained for this now. I know that when he says anything about expert colorcasters, I just wait for him to make the butt of the joke. That's what I live with, chat. That's what I live with now.
I mean, I was going to say you brought it on yourself, but you literally didn't. We see in the Moo Hover, if this ends up getting locked in, it's likely to be a proxy pick, and in my area here, that's going to be Niddly once again. Thank you to the Fabulous Pants for being our wonderful production tonight.
Yes, and heavy dubstep for the side of DMU 2-1. this is a player which I think has a future in higher levels of competitive play. We heard similar thoughts from a lot of people watching the various UK university leagues and similar level when this guy was playing, and giving them a power pick, first pick Nidalee, taken away from Trilip on the side of Callus 2. This jungle matchup is going to be a barnstormer. If there is going to be like one of these really big skill matchups, I think it's probably going to be in the jungle in terms of like the level which these players are bringing to these teams.
Trial, this is the second time tonight we're seeing the Lilia in game. I'm sure that that KLS will be hoping this Lilia fares slightly better than the one that we saw earlier on in the night. Renekton going to be locked in now for Spirit.
Oh, you've got a Renekton Nidalee on one side. That's, well, good luck, Ernx. So the thing about Ernx on Kalos is that he was him and I believe it was Stripes, who was on Kalos. I'm actually not sure if they're playing today because he's normally in that support role, they won the 2v2 Newell Summer Tournament. They're really good individual players. They beat out, players from Grey Warwick and a couple of other these top teams. It's a very, very good top lane GP Fiora player. Have to see what they get their hands on, but doing that versus Renekton Nidalee is difficult.
It sure is. It's going to be the Camille locked in.
He takes Ignite.
Yeah, we saw this being used to great effect last time by... who did we see? It was
Family.
Yeah, it was of course the Cabbage Family that played it in our second game. I was thinking the first game, but no, that was also a top lane dominant performance, but it wasn't from a Camille.
And okay, we have the Tristana back in. Just I'm assuming that's not a proxy pick. So we'll have to be remaking the lobby if that was. Well, I mean, we'll do a course for that meme anyway. But yeah, the Tristana on the bot side, now you have to wonder, well, okay, what's going to come with that? A lot of the time, if you're looking at the LPL, it often is the Tristana rel. We're not getting that. That was already banned in the first phase. So you look at Callus and they're thinking, okay, what can set up for a Trist? Infinite CC from the Dark Binding. Morg is already off the table.
It is out of there, as is the Twisted Fate, so we won't be seeing the destiny of either of these two teams in this game. We've just got ourselves a couple more bans to come through, then we start to turn our attention to what else is going to be secured, whether that Senna will be the support role, or if it's going to be in the standard ADC that we would probably expect it to be right now.
At this point.
And of course, on the other side, we'll be looking towards which supports get picked up. You've already talked about a couple. They haven't been banned away either, so the Galio and the Syndra, the last bans there.
So DMU are really trying to choke the global champion pool from Callus because they don't want anyone interrupting this really, really dominant top side of the map from the Renekton Nidalee. Don't get me wrong, Camille, Lilia, really strong in its own right, but there's just a special kind of we don't want you to play this game, which comes out as a strong message from Renekton Nidalee. We've seen this in LCS and a couple of other leagues. If you are disrespectful as the Camille, you don't get to play the game. So
we're now going to see a Thresh Senna bot lane duo. Now, I came up with a suggestion a little while back. There used to be some fantastic buffs in League of Legends, things like where Leona took anyone who was wearing sunglasses in their skin would take one less damage from any of Leona's abilities. I wish that there were like something between Senna and Thresh, like a -1 on teamwork, because it doesn't feel like those two champions should be in a lane together. They do not play well.
Well, it used to be that Thresh used to start with one soul on his stack, and if Senna was in the game, he actually starts with none because Senna is no longer in the Lantern. So there actually was something there with that. Also, another thing with the Leona thing: if Zyra got hit by Solar Flare, I'm pretty sure she just slightly grew in size until she died because of like photosynthesis and growing from the sunlight. Oh no, Leona right now though. Yeah, no Leona right now. It is the North.
This unit is a freaking ninja. That was the best buff of them all.
That was fun. That was really good. And wasn't it like you get like +1 AD or something? Oh, +1 HP. But then like if you had multiple ninjas on the same team, they lost their power because ninjas work better alone.
Which is something that they then transferred over to TFT because where unless you get 4 of them and then they become like an almighty ninja army.
That's the one. Cool.
Naturally.
Yourself, like...
whoa! We've got it. We've got the unholy trinity. It's Senna, Thresh, and Lucian all on the same team.
And no Viego, for shame. For shame, Callus. You had the chance to get your full TFT buff of Shadow Wild stuff. But yeah, okay, alright. This is when we talk about pretty much inane stuff, and it becomes scarily relevant. It's like talking about, like, I don't know, talking about... It's like, it was the whole thing on the LCK where if you just talk about something boring, eventually a team fight will start. We actually have power over League of Legends. We've gained that power.
Well, it's not been that boring tonight. Plenty of action in our two games. One of them was a fairly stompy performance that we saw in game one. Game two went a lot closer until perhaps an outplay or a misplay, however you wish to view it, came around that third dragon. That pretty much ended the game as a contest. Will we see game four be any closer? We're now having this redraft because, of course, there were a couple of proxy picks last time. We'll see that Nidalee locked in for the first time, having been a sad boy, a Moo who yet again is left without any friends to play with in this game. Orianna was one of the champions that got locked in. It will, of course, be a pick against that Lucian. I believe the Lucian was the counter pick to the Orianna.
Yeah, was last pick.
Bot lane locked in. I believe in the end it was a Nautilus to go alongside the Tristana. Having now identified all the roles, we will turn our attention one last time before she gets popped down on her blanket to have a little sleep to our export. Here she is. Which way are you pointing? Who's gonna take the win? You get a guess. Let's see.
Which one are you gonna accidentally put 10 votes in for, like me?
Ooh, she's going this way. Ooh, that was totally her. Oh, you are a very good little girl. But you are out of here for now. She's gone for DMU T1 in this composition. How about you?
I'm really scared when a team has multiple options for a Nidalee and also has the best Nidalee combo in the game. You've got AP/AD for both top laners, and don't get me wrong, Camille Lilia is a similar combo to Renekton Nidalee, but when you've got a heavy dubstep player with such caliber coming in, having the Nautilus for setup on the bot side too, I think DMU have a lot of ways to enable their strongest player on the roster, and that's totally a nameplates on thing. Doesn't mean that KLS can't come in with their very high flair and aggression coming in from the team that we know them to have. They're a very fun team to watch, and they're a relatively undiscovered team because they haven't played in Varsity before. They haven't been in the prize playoffs. They've come in at 2-0, taking 2 early wins. I reckon they can make a dent, but this is a hard draft from DMU T1 rather. So I'm definitely hedging. I'd like to hedge my bets, but of course I can't. I'm going after DMU.
The thing is, like, a part of me wants to disagree with you, so we can have this on a little bit of back and forth. And but at the same time,
you got to pay attention to your analyst. Yeah.
I also want to get all 3 predictions right tonight, and I think that my best bet for doing that is going with this DMU team.
Don't you think I've forgotten the fact that you didn't mention at all about my hyper 10 vote for Cabbage Family paying off? What happened to that, Stan? Do I not get any kind? There's meant to be a carrot and stick approach. Like I definitely get like beer over the head with the stick every so often. Where's the carrot, Stan? Where's the carrot?
Hope ate it. So we are going to have that prediction available. You can use some of your channel points to vote. Right now, things are heavily skewed in favor of DMU T1, which was, of course, a prediction of Superior Analyst Hope and also less Superior Analyst myself and Nymera. Maybe, however, we could all end up being wrong. I'm gonna go and use some of my points right now to put my points where my mouth is.
Well, I won't accidentally
Oh no, it closed! I went to do it!
Oh man, that's
betrayed by pants.
And unfortunately, Stan did not get a vote in time, therefore cannot get perfect predictions tonight as Stan's abstained.
I vocalize mine. You know this to be true. So we will be coming into this game in just a moment. All has been said about the draft for now. We'll see how it performs in game. I, for one, hope this to be a very, very close and exciting affair because, frankly, it'll make for good, entertaining watching.
Absolutely. The best thing about this is that there's actually a lot of like for like across these teams, right? Because you've got the Renekton and the Camille doing similar-ish things at different points in the game. Camille definitely outscales and definitely has the ability to assassinate much better than the Renekton. But Renekton can also get right into the middle of things, use Gore Drinker. I'm actually not sure if... I mean, Renekton probably still does go for the Gore Drinker, even after the nerfs.
Even after the nerfs, probably, yeah.
I know that, of course, we saw the Aatrox with the Stride earlier from Evan, who just tore apart that game.
And both still going Sterix as well, I believe.
Exactly, yeah. And Sterix second on top of the Gore Drinker is just so disgusting of a combo. Anyway, so there's a lot of stuff like that. These two champions of the top lane looking to do similar-ish things. The junglers, both AP needing a bit of setup, but having that solo carry potential. Okay, so you've got similar things there. The real difference, of course, comes in from the mid lane, but bot lane still has a lot of team fight potential with a lot of catch potential too between the two of them. So I look at these two comps, I'm like, okay, yeah, of course I edge it over to DMU because I think Nidalee, when enabled, is very hard to top. But this should be a relatively fun skill match between the two teams. So I think that the team that wins probably deserving of it because it's on the back of their performance.
I love your point, Alex, and I'd like to expand on it if that's all right, because actually looking towards it, you've got the 2 hook supports coming in, so the similarity there on support. And actually, if you flip the position of the Lucian and the Senna, you almost have a little bit of a balance in terms of the matchup there. You've got Senna shielding that can be provided, slightly longer range in terms of the damage
potential.
Exactly. Then on the bot side, you've got I know the Lucian isn't actually on the bot side, but if they were there, then all of a sudden you've got a dashy, jumpy champ with lots and lots of damage. So actually, the only real discrepancy between these 2 teams for me is the difference between the AD and the AP on the Orianna and the Lucian, not respectively. So yeah, I think you have absolutely hit the nail on the head. 2 teams looking to execute in similar ways. Which one does it more successfully? Well, that's going to be the one that takes the win. For Careless, it would put them to an unbeaten 3-0 week. The DMU T1, it would restore themselves to a 2-1 after an early loss.
Exactly, and of course we've talked about this so much. I mean, there is something to be said about week 1 stumbles. A great many teams have gone on to win splits in leagues around the world from completely winless first weeks. It's not the end of the line. The question is whether we have these teams which just lose all of their momentum and then can't recover from it.
Oh, that's the first time I've done that on a Nullcast for so long. Absolutely corpsing when I see myself get and you get called the B-Tech Medivedi. Wonderful. We are going to see our first big invade play coming. Fresh opting to try and find the hook for both the wall positioning early on, but unfortunately that one is dodged away by the Tristana. Fortunately there for Soxu, and it's not going to be any big play.
Can I at least not be like the undergrad Medivedi? I am actually a student. I do this thing as well. This is a university league. Do I not get an upgrade at some point? Wow, okay.
Oh, you got me there. That's fabulous. We're seeing yet again the slightly slower start to the game, but not for lack of trying on the side of Leicester.
No, of course not. I guess we just check in across the board. Some people are still kind of looking at the Trist and thinking, well, should you go for something like Lethal Tempo, have a bit more team fight scaling? Halo plays is really good in the early game. And having Exhaust Ignite in bot lane, if you hit a hook onto one target, level 2 gets hit, that bot lane is such a strong all-in. It just allows you to get on top of someone, even like with the range of Senna. If they ever get caught out, they're in massive trouble.
Okay, just the slow, steady trades early on. Fallen Rain going aggressive, something we've seen in previous splits from this player. Samjay trading back and eating up those potions. It's a nice, slow, steady start. We've got the hooks, both on the bot side, looking for the first one to hit.
So the thing about this, normally it's BotCon that actually plays mid. This is actually a role swap from the Leicester team. I mean, we've seen BotCon play a lot of Echo, a lot of extra mid laners, but having the mid lane switched around to the bot lane and having, you were saying, oh wow, look at this kind of utility AD carry, flip that with the Orianna, maybe they're similar. Well, actually, I guess Leicester think the same thing. They flip their players to play them.
I like that a lot. We are going to just see the 2 hooks in battle. I'm going to ask you to put another guess out there for me, and whichever one you pick, I'll take the other one. Who's going to hit a hook first? Is it going to be deep, or is it going to be Didol?
So the thing is, with the lane pushed in like that, Nautilus probably doesn't want to land a hook, so I'm actually going to go with deep, unless the lane starts evening out a bit.
Fallen Rain going aggressive again, finding the trades, but again bounced back by the Orianna ball.
Exactly. So Lucian loves to dash in onto the Orianna. It is one of the classic quote-unquote counter matchups, particularly in early lane in League, and we might be seeing that first hook hit right now, and it's actually got a Didol!
Here we go. That means I win that prediction as well. Deep, already having to burn the heal, but it's going to be...
Oh no!
Trying to find some defensive plays. Kill comes in for Tristana, finding first blood before being killed off by the Lilia. Here comes Heavy Dubstep, looking to try and trade an extra one back, however has to flash away. Double Root comes in. Samjay's come down the river, as has Fallen Rain, looking to go aggressive. Does not have culling available just yet. Botcard still level 2, but still wanting to make that plays. Samjay going lower and lower, finds a command protect. Fallen Rain just needs one. But the spear connects from downtown, and Fallen Rain is sent scurrying away.
Oh, Blade and Neck, I know we get excited in the early plays in the game. You know, we're just trying to get up to tempo, make sure that we're in the flow of the game. Leicester are thinking the same thing, flashing aggressively, trying to go in really deep. I actually think Senna might have cancelled an auto there. Would have to go back and check that clip. It gets super close. One kill to Tristana. Misses out, I guess, one wave in bot side. Another kill, though, goes on the other side to Trilip on this Lilia. And while we were talking about Heavy Dubstep being a very strong jungler in their own right, Trilip is no slouch.
What an absolutely messy start that was, but exciting for sure. Fallen Rain was one of the people who maybe came out a little bit of a lose from that one because so nearly got a kill. Meanwhile, Heavy Dubstep has been caught out. There are 3 people invading the jungle here. Ernx managing to find the stun straight onto Nidalee, who jumps over the wall but jumps straight into trouble. Ernx flashing over, looking for the kill all for themselves. Sidestep away from the Swirl Seed, but only passing the kill over to Camille as Fallen Rain clears out vision.
The one place we hadn't touched on yet, or what's happening in this top lane, it's Ernx just completely running over this 1v1. CS up, pressure in the top lane. This Nidalee did not go up towards that duo, and Ernx has been able to run over this top side of the map. Comes in, gets a kill now onto the sitting jungler of Heavy Dubstep, and this Nidalee is off to a pretty slow start.
Yeah, and that invade playing out really, really nicely for Leicester. Meanwhile, however, DMU, knowing so much pressure was put towards the top side of the map, find themselves these turret plates, managing to stabilise the gold advantage that had been gained by Leicester. Dubstep looking for a potential spear, will land it yet again. Fallen Rain jumping over the wall, immediately dash away from Fallen Rain, but we are going to see the Electrocute proc coming in for the Nidalee.
But while this is happening, Heavy Dubstep getting pressure on Trial's still farming. His camp's ahead. It has a kill and an assist, getting very far ahead in one metric, even though Fallen Rain has now been forced out of lane a little bit. This will be evened up, of course, by the bot lane having pro, and that allows them to go into the bottom quadrant of Leicester's jungle. So when Trial takes a trip down there, we'll find there's not really much waiting for them.
Not at all. And meanwhile, yet again, bit of a vision game. I think we've seen more control wards purchased in this game than in the entirety of any average bronze ranked game. We are going to see Didal caught out by a little bit of a root. That's not going to bother big old Nautilus too much whatsoever.
Oh, this lane positioning pretty dangerous for bot, Khan and Deep. There's a jungler on the bot side, but Lilia's coming down too. Let's see if Didal can land a hook to start anything off.
It could be a hook. It could be the spear that flies in from out of vision as well. Keep our eyes towards what's happening on the bot part of the map. Of course, first dragon is up. It will be an infernal dragon. This could easily burst into a 3v3. Jump caught by the play. Deep does not have flash available. Trying to stay alive.
Good route.
For the safety of the alcove. Managing to find a hook. Going back over the wall, but the kill comes in for Brexit nonetheless. We are going to see Trilight joining this fight. As we said, I believe the teleport was cancelled, and it is going to be kill after kill after kill going over to Soxu. Didal just about surviving on the tiniest bit of health. But all of a sudden, that's a 3-1 Tristana.
What I thought might turn that play was a triple last embrace from bot Khan. It's not nearly enough. This bot lane and the bot side of the map for Careless, Fearless was their old name. Maybe they should be a bit afraid of Heavy Dubstep and crew because DMU came out to a huge win on the bot side of the map.
Soxu is now so insanely far ahead. 25 CS up, 3 kills to the good. The Yordle is going to be firing fire straight at the opposition. Dragon, of course, not started up just yet, despite that big domination play on the bottom half of the map. The vision game is good from Leicester. However, this time they were losing out from the nice setup of DMU.
Firing fire like Soxu just dropped their mixtape. Really, really strong. But Fallen Rain doing similar in mid lane. Didal's here to engage, though.
It's going to be Fallen Rain called out. Shockwave pulling back the Lucian. He tries to dash forward, tries to get the double tap, but it's not going to happen because Nautilus secures that kill for his mid laner.
No vision on the bot side of the map, and the winning bot lane. It means that DMU support can roam with such extra pressure. Now, Trilip finds Didal once again, burns the ult into Heavy Dubstep, at least gets the scuttle, but they're really not winning this side of the map.
Oh, aggressive plays coming from Soxu, flashing onto Trilight. That's going to be a nice use of the lantern to get Trilight out to safety, but it might have put Deep in all sorts of trouble. There was a rocket jump reset available for the Tristana. However, discretion the better part of valor here as they decide they'd rather have a dragon instead.
And, yeah, DMU just collapsing better. They know that Ernst can't get out onto the map. As we were talking about earlier in that bot lane play, that Camille's teleport was cancelled in one of the biggest plays imaginable on that bot side. If Camille gets in there, turns around that play, this game looks very, very different. What we know from this team of KLS, and to a lesser extent DMU T1 as well, but particularly KLS, they do try and drag games into the messy, brawling, skirmishy style and roll with the punches. But this time it's DMU which have landed the first large hits in this game.
Interesting choice here from DMU with that dragon now gone. They look for Australian reigns. We're seeing this less and less in competitive at the moment, but I really like decision making, knowing the herald's available on top side. knowing there are still 5 turret plates to be had. Trilip and crew trying to make some kind of return to this, trying to catch someone out in the opposition junglers. We do see Lucian jumping over the wall. Sorry, I take that back. That was, of course, Nidalee jumping over the wall. Ernst dashes in, having spotted out the Nidalee, not necessarily realizing there were 2 other people.
Senna's not there.
Shadow comes through, manages to find a shield, but as you say, there'll be no more damage to be found. Hook lands from downtown from deep, but Didol gets out to safety.
Close run thing, we like the thought processes, as you were saying, in terms of, wow, okay, really interesting lane swap coming out from DMU T1. But Careless are also on the clock, and they understand what was going on, and they're actually going to claim themselves the Herald after all things said and done. Spirit has now burned the TP, and Ernst will have that teleport up way before that Renekton. Leicester at least winning this part of the engagement.
I'll be honest, I think that Leicester just turned that game on its head a little bit. It felt like it was starting to get away from them, and with one turnaround, even though they don't pick up any kills, don't find that shutdown onto, let's say, the Tristana, they still managed to pick up a Herald. They know they're going to be able to get some turret plates. This 2,000 gold lead will be reduced somewhat.
It will be, but then we got to look where the gold leads are. Renekton's not going to be doing much this game. Maybe setting up for the Nidalee, that stun is still important, but it's not really going to be at the point where you can push up against the Camille. If you're outside of your tower range with Ernst, you're probably in danger. This is where the gold lead is for the side of Leicester. It is all in that top side, and to a lesser extent Trilip as well.
The thing is, I think I want to look at that conversely and look at what the Camille will do. When you're got a Camille with such a massive gold lead, having picked up the kill, getting towards the items, that is going to be huge, and one of the potential only ways of shutting down this Tristana.
Potentially, yes, and why it has to come down to what's happening in the 5v5s, what's happening in the split lanes. That's often how the game is separated up in the current metagame, because dragons are so important. It's what you're doing between the dragons. If you're not winning those 5v5s, that really comes into question. Huge wave on the spot side of the map going to be picked up for Spirit, who has gone the cull, by the way, for that Renekton, which does lose him lane pressure. But if you're picking up farm, might cash out an important part of the later game. Herald still in inventory for Leicester, and heavy dubstep caught by Hook.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of aggression put down by Khan Deep. However, they are heavily outnumbered in the top lane. Herald still to be put down, but turret plates still being picked up by Soxu, who has individually picked up 4 turret plates now.
It's a lot of goals, as opposed to Fallen Rain that has died the one time. Ernst is going on the bot side, though. This is a 2v1.
Going very aggressive. Spirit already with the dominance is going to be put to sleep by Trilip, but Trilip already losing half of the health. Spirit obviously no gore drinker in the pocket. Trilip having to flash out to safety. That wasn't actually the flash, that was just the dash, and it is going to be Ernst finishing off the Crocodile and finding a new pair of shoes for it.
Trilip doesn't have to, doesn't end up going down. I was about to say, doesn't have to burn the flash. Didn't actually have that flash, but does use the stopwatch. And Lilia is a champion that is one of the rare champions that doesn't feel the need to build a mythic early. Going for that stopwatch gives you the ability to all frontline, but now they need a frontline in this top lane.
The play is good. Flash from Deep, trying to stay alive, being chased by the Nidalee evermore. Meanwhile, more of that gold has been pawned into Ernst out on the bottom side of the map. He's just got a load of turret plates from the charge of the Herald. We'll get yet more while the push continues from DMU on the top side.
So gonna have to play the base race game, at least for this first turret. I think it's gonna go to DMU, but can they defend it? Hook lands.
Hook connects, teleport comes through. This is going to be a 4 versus 4, and already it's been turned into a 4v3. Nice buster shot will come through from Tristana, buying a little bit of time. Trilip being put so low. Camille continuing pushing the bot side, finds the first turret advantage at the very least, and the kill was picked up by Leicester.
Exactly, so first turret goes down on bot side to Leicester, and the kill on top side was picked up by Leicester. That's a 1 play across the map for the red team in this game, and it evens up the gold lead to a respectable 500 deficit. That is something you can play around. Heavy dubstep jumping in now. I'm not sure you want to take this to the teleport coming in.
Stealing away a buff, but potentially giving over their life. Fallen Rain teleporting in. Dubstep trying to run to safety. Trilip is going to have yet another teleport put in as the Zhonya's comes through. The sleep will trigger onto the dashing away Cougar, and she is no more. Neither is the Yordle, who gets shut down by Unks, and yet more gold. More gold for this Camille, who is absolutely monstrous. Highest CS in the game. 3 kills to their name, and they've got the shutdown gold too.
And Heavy Dubstep, we praise them rightly so. They had such an impact on the winter season. Oversteps their bounds on that red buff steal. Goes straight into the Lilia after landing the spear, not on that champion, but onto the buff instead. So that means you don't get the extra damage from the takedown and all this other stuff. And then the teleports coming in from the solo laners of Leicester really turn that fight. And it doesn't even mean they lose anything on the bot side of the map, because Dragon Spawner, they're all there already.
Didol may have found the first hook of the game, but I think it's fair to say that Deep has found the most influential influential hooks of the game so far. Potentially looking for more. We do see Leicester trying to trade this one back, potentially trying to get their second dragon in the game. Control seems to be over to Leicester at the minute. Spear connects on to Trilite, but the dragon is already gone. Trying to find that one, and Soxu's gone in, but he jumps himself out, manages to find the rocket jump out to safety. Meanwhile, Didol gets himself caught out by a death sentence. It will be his death that has been signed for.
That's it. Just too many of those Shadow World champions call you to the grave. Didol goes down for the second death of the game, and Leicester in this last couple of minutes have found play after play. This is what we talk about this team when we talk about them being a team which will make you roll with the punches. You have to be ready for the next play because they don't really tend to stop moving across the map.
As things briefly slow down, if I could ask two things of my wonderful production. One would be if they could pop the gold leads up for me, please. And the other would be to let me know what the prediction end percentage was, if they are able to. The gold that I'm looking at right now is not between any two individual laners, though there are some close ones. I'm looking at the Camille in comparison to the Tristana. That is a 500 gold lead for Camille over Trist, despite that triple we saw for Soxu earlier on. And I'm hearing in my ear, it's a 93% people went for DNU. They are currently 100 gold down as we approach 15 minutes.
Well, I think one of the reasons why I was confident on DMU coming to this was the Nidalee and how they can get involved in the lanes with the Renekton. That Renekton has not been the focus from DMU T1. That duo has been split apart. And Ernst, we know he's a strong solo player. Won that 2v2 tournament for the Newell, of course. It's a very different scenario. It's not necessarily the same as playing on Summoner's Rift at all. But Ernst is a strong individual laning phase player. Plays the Camille, plays the Fiora, knows how the way around their champions. And on this Camille, is showing a very similar set of skills and dominance.
We are going to see the sleep put down on the Didol, who is going to use the dredge line, try and get out to safety. No follow-up comes through from Leicester. They don't want to pull the trigger on this one. One thing that we did just see there, and that I think will definitely be to DMU's credit as this game continues, is the way that should they find any rotational nice positioning or any
like
team fight wins, how quickly the Tristana eats through turrets. Meanwhile, Fallen Rain's health bar is being eaten through as well. He throws out the culling. Heavy dubstep takes it all to the chest while picking up the kill. That's the Nidalee impact you wanted to see earlier on, and now again we see the opportunity for Soxu to rain down damage with the explosive charge onto these turrets.
Heavy Dubster says, well, okay, don't have a stun ready for me to land the spear. Damn it, I'll do it myself. Fallen Rain flashes late, uses the dash before the Nidalee turns up, and ends up losing their life. Might cost Leicester their top lane in a turret, and it will go down.
It will indeed. Meanwhile, Renton able to zone enough that Camille wasn't able to get any damage onto the bot lane in the turret. Instead, trying to get towards the mid lane. But this just leaves time for DMU to now find that free hitting time onto this turret. However, the free hitting is no longer free as Deep finds a hook.
Shockwave
will come through. Shockwave catches onto two as in dives Soxu yet again. Such aggressive plays from this Tristana, finding one kill. Spirit finds a kill onto Khan, and this is an absolute rout inside the base of Leicester.
Oh, the hook
will connect on Dubstep, who goes gold and buying a little bit of time, hoping the minions will take aggro. It's not to be, because Ernst has finally arrived, found the double kill, and once more Spirit gets slowed down, and it's going to be Ernst with the potential to hook shot forward. Trilite looking out from the outside. It's going to be Swirlseed going in between the goalposts. Spirit going lower and lower. Sleep is going to connect onto Tristana. Ernst has found a delayed triple, makes it a delayed quadra. The double keeps the game alive for Leicester.
And the glorified Cho'Gath ultimate on that Camille Q chomps down on the Tristana after the sleep. Just has to wait and see the end coming. Trilite makes it to the fight a little bit late on the timing, but does come in, cleans up the plays. It does mean that still a tower falls down on the top side for Leicester, but with all that gold onto Ernst, this man of the hour, this person in the top lane who has laned so effectively and carried so many games, Leicester are probably feeling okay about this, honestly.
I think they are, but you have to think back to the last game we saw on stream for those of you who were here. We saw a Malphite get into not quite this position of dominance that the Camille has, but still a mighty strong position. A lot of eggs were in that basket. That didn't go well as soon as the Malphite ult was down, as soon as the Malphite kind of got taken out of the team fight. The fact is, Camille is not a Malphite though.
No, I don't think Camille isn't technically the truth. Yes. The thing about this, of course, is just look at that last play. Of course, we won't have I'm really hoping we get that clip at the end of the game because it's so well played in the micro by Ernst. Because you look at that, you see The Empowered W, readied up by Spirit. So he backsteps, waits for it to time out, follows through the hook shot, just making sure that all of these micro plays go through, because you know if you're stunned up in front of that Trist, probably not going to go too well. Mid does everything in their power to make sure that wasn't the case, and completely outplays that situation.
Didol and Heavy Dubstep looking for potential pick should anyone come too close. Meanwhile, Unks might have found a pick onto Spirit, who's trying to dash out to safety. Unks decides not to chase this one any further, unsure of who might be waiting. Who's waiting is going to be the DMU team as they invade the blue side of Leicester's jungle. Deep going so low, gets caught out by the explosive shot, may die off screen. Didol might have to flash off, and it is going to be Tri-Light returning kills as both supports are going to die, but look at the low health bars. Soxu might have the rocket jump available. Looks for Khan, the jump over the wall, and the reset's going to come through as a double kill comes in for Soxu. Spirit trying to chase down Unks, who hook shots over the wall, realizing the fort fight is already lost. A second dragon should go over to DMU. Unks, however, still waiting, potentially looking to get onto Heavy Dubstep RMX.
So there is no stopwatch for the Nidalee. There was a teleport for that Camille. It wasn't called. The fight goes against Leicester for the first time in a little while. Seems like DMU had the better calculations and ended up making the better decisions across the map, particularly for that fight. Okay, it is just that Cloud Rift. It is just one dragon over, but Leicester might have lost some of that rolling momentum they'd had across this game so far.
Unks puts down some damage, and the Herald Bop gets enough of the damage down so that we do see the tier 2, that inner turret, going down in mid lane. That will leave the gold at the back of that last fight as a 500 gold advantage from DMU T1. They take themselves the second dragon of the game, which I believe was a clap.
The second dragon of the game was that.
Sorry,
Infernal, and then we got the Cloud Rift. Yeah, sure, it's in there somewhere. I guess, I mean, one of the things we're continuing to see, though, is that, I mean, Bot Khan is just getting absolutely just starved out of farm. That's like 78 as farm to 158. That's like a full... Yeah, 50. It's full 70 overall in terms of the CS taken. Go on.
I was just going to say, and all you have to do is look at the items for the reflection of that. The rapid fire cannon with a BF sword, you know, pieces of an Infinity Edge completed in comparison to, you know, daggers on a Kraken Slayer.
Absolutely, and we know this item combo really strong for Senna, but it doesn't really matter if you have to. It's just look at that gold difference. That's absolutely absurd. And Trist with all this gold has a chance to outplay the Camille when they dive in. If Ice doesn't hit the hook shot, much like they were trying to do on Spirit up there, of course the tower's up, so it won't lead to too much. I mean, if you don't land that hook shot, then you can get Buster shotted away, and then things get pretty difficult for you.
The fight might be brewing. The Baron has now spawned. Both teams are interested. Didol gets caught out by the Swirl Seed. The gold leads that we saw just a moment ago showed just how far ahead Soxu was of Khan. Will pay on to Tri-Light. Khan gets absolutely bopped by Heavy Dubstep RMX, but lives, throws down the Dawning Shadow as Unks arrives to try and do damage, but he's alone in the back line of the DMU T1 team. Somehow no one dies in this exchange.
Well, apart from Heavy Dubstep, you forget about it in the mess of that fight, but you see, it's a tale of two dives. Unks ends up surviving theirs, teleporting into the fray, but Nidalee dies. Does this open up the Baron, or at least the bait? Leicester are going to try and force the Mutant.
Khan was forced back due to how low we saw their health going on that last one, of course. Heavy Dubstep RMX one was the one who died. Unks has been taken very low by the Baron, but Didol caught out in a slightly awkward position. Command attack comes through, and we're going to see Fallen Rain throwing down the culling. There comes Senna, managing to find the Shroud. It's going to be Unks who helps Fallen Rain secure the kill onto Didol. And now with 2 dead, potentially this could be the chance. Except there's not 2 dead, because Heavy Dubstep's back again, because we're still so close to 20 minutes!
It is. It's too early into the game to get the huge numbers advantages. Leicester at least get themselves an extra pick. Unks didn't pull the trigger on the Flash Ultimate. I think that's probably wise. You can get Buster shotted out of the Hextech Ultimatum after you've cast it. And if you go too far, there's a chance to give up that 1,000 gold shutdown to one of the surviving carries of the Orianna and the Trist. Giving that gold back, very dangerous at this point. You need Camille to be on the map. You need them to be ever present if you want to take these fights to DMU. This game is by no means over. But Leicester seems to have won the last engagement or two.
23 minutes about to arrive on the clock, and the game is balanced on a knife's edge. Less than 1,000 gold separating these two teams. 1 minute 40 seconds, and we'll see the 4th dragon spawn the game. This could put DMU onto Soul Point should they be able to secure it. It is, of course, a Cloud Dragon, not the most essential, though an extra little bit of speediness, especially when you've got a Camille hook shotting into your face, could certainly help.
And Camille is balanced on 2 knives edges. That's what their legs are. And, the extra cooldown reduction is pretty nice, right? Particularly when you're looking at Lilia in particular. If you get more cooldown reduction on the Lilia, that opens up so many extra opportunities to have throwaway engages like we've seen a couple of times. Because, I mean, you don't have to commit bodies into the fray if you do land one of those swirl seeds. On the other side, similar can be said, of course, for the Shockwave and the Depth Charge too. You're always looking for situations to use them, and if they're down, you are forced over so many neutral map states.
Deep getting slightly caught out. The Dredge line connects. The pullback is there. The box is put down, but it's too late to save Deep. Soxu finding this one yet again with the explosive charge. Baron now is an opportunity. Dragon spawning in 45 seconds, but it is going to be the big purple worm that is the attention of Demomfort.
It is, and of course now you have to play without the Thresh Hook. You still have a lot of powerful members though, and there's no Depth Charge this time and no Shockwave this time to potentially disengage.
It's not just the hook, it's your key person who can put down vision as well. You see the control words starting to be spread around, but none of them are in the pit. However, DMU have had to find themselves disengaging away from this Baron. This could leave open the opportunity for an immediate turn to Dragon from Leicester should they wish.
Yes, and how interesting is this? We talked about it in the draft in terms of actually these teams have a lot of similar tools to use. This could be a huge pick if someone walks into vision. Tim, you do have the correct presence of mind to understand the danger they were in, though. And Fallen Red gets hit by a spear.
Ooh, absolutely. From downtown, losing half their health just from one horrible spear. Meanwhile, Didol getting slightly caught out. Both of these supports are playing right on the edge, and it is going to be the death of Didol this time round. Again, the culling was used. Again, it's a 5v4. Again, he put the hook on the back of the Flash Center, finding the shutdown to Soxu. And with the crucial member dead, this is the push that Ernst wants. He finds the Hextech ultimatum. He manages to lock down RMX. It's going to be RMX going golden, but then going dead on the back of it. The clean ace comes through for Fearless, and our defending champions get absolutely obliterated. They may even lose their base at 25 minutes.
They've got a single minion alive, but it's one minion, one hope, one dream, and maybe an extra win for Leicester.
15 seconds on the death timers. This could be enough. The next wave is arriving. Didol is here doing everything that he can, trying to throw down an ultimate, at least trying to delay for as long as he can. But one Nexus turret is done. Soxu's up in 3 seconds. Will it be too little? Too late? I think it will. Trilife's there. The damage is put down. Ernst with one last slash of the leg finds the victory, and an upset comes in for Careless.
Leicester's players walk back home towards their own Nexus, shattering DMU in this game 3. Who would have thought they would have gone 1 and 2 in their first week? Well, that's what you get in your Varsity. You get close games, top-level competition from the UK university scene, and you get some very unexpected wins at the most peculiar of matchups sometimes. It's 3-0 for Careless.
They did brilliantly in that game. They played around the edges of who was strong in the opposition so nicely in those last couple of fights. That last obliteration of the Nautilus, which then led to the flash hook, which then led to Ernst going in and going, here's my gold lead, I'm going to throw it all at your faces. And they're just like, death by coin. That is basically what happened. And they took their one ace and they rode it all the way through to a Nexus explosion. 3-0, as you say, for the University of Leicester. 1 and 2 for our defending champions, De Montfort.
And, I mean, I know we've talked about it a lot, but Careless came through the varsity qualification. They didn't get into the prize playoffs last split. They weren't in the, the top teams, quote unquote. But then showing them their mettle and showing their stuff in these best of ones right now, really showing the top level of talent that is spread throughout these varsity seeds. Just because you have the higher speed seed from Winter does not give you free wins. It doesn't give you necessarily the advantage. And Careless, they are certainly a team to follow now in this split.
Yeah, I don't know if you actually heard it just there off stream, but I'm taking away the MVP vote from you for this game because our analyst gave us a little irks from the background. So they knew what was up. A top performance from the top laner, asserting dominance in a big old way in the first week here of the Newell Spring split. That was our final game for the day on 3 terrific games that we've had. It felt like they ramped up in intensity all the way through to that final really titanic conclusion. Absolutely loved it. Anything you want to follow upon from any of those games at all, Alex?
I'm just really happy that we're seeing teams willing to go out onto the Rift and just take fights and play the game. Not slide to slow defeats. Commit yourself into these bigger engagements against these very talented teams and go strut your stuff. It's really cool to have it on stream, of course. Not all of them we get to catch, but the glimpses we get into this tournament have been so entertaining. So I hope you enjoyed it too.
Yeah, well, we will be back same time next week. We'll have a couple of more games. We'll have a couple of different casters coming in as well. So if you particularly wanted to, get rid of either mine or Alex's faces, for one, couldn't blame you, and you'll be able to see Melvin Izzle and Brackish Brit coming in. Melvin Izzle returning for his second split, Brackish Brit, a newcomer for the Newell. Delighted to see them both in action. A massive thank you to our production, to the fantastic Patrick Campbell, who has been an absolute wonder to work with as always, and to the rest of the team, Geomancy out there in chat, who I know is getting a lot of love from all of you, rightly so, and to everybody else involved with putting the Newell competitions together, to everybody who played in the games, to everyone who watched on Twitch chat, a massive thank you to our partners for this split. They are Logitech G, Unite students, and Twitch student. Without them, this wouldn't be the same. So a huge thank you to them. Please do check us out on our various socials. A like for at Greyheart99 or at Nymera certainly puts a smile on a caster's face. Also, check out. Could have at least done an actual smile.
It was there. It was. I'm sorry. My.
Look at that. You could get that smile. You wouldn't actually get to see it, but you would make it happen. Well, there we go. And also check out the socials for Newell as well. You're obviously here on twitch.tv/the Newell. A like or even a subscribe is massively appreciated. And also we're out there on Twitter at the Newell, and we're also on other social medias. Go find us. However, that is the end of our broadcast for the first week. It has been an absolute belter. More excellent games are promised in this brilliant round robin we're going to have between these top 12 varsity teams. Please tune in next week for more. I've been Stanley Greyheart Barker. He's been Alex Nymera Hapgood. Good night.
Can you feel it? The fire in your soul, leaping at the chance for love. Can you feel it? Haunting your senses, letting all your feelings go. But I can feel it rushing through my veins. Your love's the only drug I know. But we've been playing the hand now we're dealt, so we can light it up. Bye.